Welcome back once again to A Cup of Conversation on BRT TV. My name is John Ghazi, I'm your host, and back in the studio with me is an old friend of ours. He's been on my program many times. He's an author, he's a psychoanalyst, a therapist, and he has self-help books. He's a really, really interesting guy to talk to. D.U. Sivri is my guest on the program this week. So, first of all, welcome back to Sivri.
Thank you, Jan. Pleasure to be here again, as always. Lovely to be here, to be invited back and to talk to you. Thank you.
My first question, unusual question, do you believe in fate, Sivri?
I do to a degree. Then what happens is it's up to you. Fate opens the door, I always say, but what you do after that is your choice.
Because the reason why I'm asking that is that this was an unexpected TV interview. You came in to do radio with my colleague Denise Phillips, and then things happened here at BRT, and I invited you onto television. And I think this is the second time that you've been scheduled for radio, but you've done radio and TV with me. So there must be something with your energy and with BRT, I think.
Exactly.
Positive.
Exactly. Must be sort of the gremlins at work trying to do other things so that I could come on. So who knows? Absolutely.
Definitely. But you're such a great guy, and you're such a wonderful person to talk to, that you're always accommodating, and you always can jump at the chance to come to BRTK in Lefkosha. So thanks once again for making the time.
My pleasure, John.
To come to us.
My pleasure.
And in fact, I mean, it was on the card that you'd be here with us because you have a brand new book out, and this is Stop Being a Wuss, Dating Tips and Secrets for Men. And I have to say that this is something that is very tongue-in-cheek, makes me laugh, because we all know you as
Thank you.
a renowned psychotherapist and dating relationship expert, having helped hundreds of men over the years in their quest to date successfully and find love. Sivri has put together this fascinating book to help the modern man navigate through the mysteries of connecting with women on both a physical and a psychological level. Now, you were born in London,
Correct.
East London.
Correct.
And I think you are now based here. Isn't that right?
I'm mostly based here, correct. I still do work around the world, and I do sort of stuff like on TV, radio as well, elsewhere. And people can contact me from wherever in the world. So in reality, where I'm based doesn't matter anymore. With technology, people can talk to me from all over the world. So, you know, as I mentioned before, my family's originally from Cyprus. My father was British police, British Army, then went to Germany and England. And that's why I was born there. But after that, you're free to work anywhere. With technology, I can be based here, for example, and have clients from all around the world. So I love it here.
And I know that you were saying, just briefly before we started this interview, that you are a very Cypriot family, very connected to the island.
Correct.
Your sister used to work here in the Foreign Affairs Ministry.
Yep, correct.
That was many years ago.
She did, correct.
Sivri.
That's right.
And your mum is also, even though she's based in the UK, she's very active with Cypriot Women's Associations.
Correct.
Yeah?
She's the head woman, or what the title is, I'm not sure, of these different women's associations. And she does like Cypriot art, and she has exhibitions and things like that. And I'll give her a shout out, Aisha Sivri. So
hello, Aisha.
She does stuff like that. So she's been on TV as well before here in Cyprus, and does a lot of work for the embassy as well in London, actually. So very, very sort of Cypriot family, that's right.
Even though you were born and brought up like me in the UK, in London,
that's right,
you still have that great connection with Cyprus.
Absolutely.
And you have a great connection with Cyprus. Like I said, I think you are, even though it doesn't matter where you are based now in the TRNC,
that's
even
right.
though you probably go back and forth to other
that's right.
locations. And you are a prolific writer.
Thank you.
The last time you were here, I'm looking at my archives now, actually at the beginning of the year, you were my first interview for 2019, back in January.
That's right, January
and
the
3rd. It's May, so within 5 months you're back on the screens with Stop Being a Wuss. The previous books that you were writing about were very much more, when I say serious, the secrets of success in life, in relationships, in work.
Correct.
You have a series of books.
Correct.
This title now deviates from the secrets of.
Yes.
Even though you are giving secrets of dating and being successful in relationships for men. But this is something that is aimed at men in particular, yes?
That is correct, because in my work, you know, in psychology, therapy, counselling, a lot of men have problems with women in relationships or in their families. And what I noticed over the years, everyone thinks their problem is unique, but it's actually universal. A lot of men have very, very similar problems. So I thought, how can I help them? I'm in a privileged position. A lot of men tell me their secrets, their worries, their fears, and so do women. So I'm kind of in the middle. I'm like the conduit of information, the gatekeeper. Everything passes through me. So I know what men are worried about, what women are worried about. And for me, it's how do I connect the two? I say it's a tongue-in-cheek book because even from the title, you know, it's a lot of banter so that men will want to read it. And I think men need more help than women when it comes to relationships. Women are very open. They talk about their children, their husbands, their friends, their family, and they talk to everybody. But men are more closed. We don't sort of seem to speak about our problems unless they choose to speak to a therapist or counsellor. So I thought if I write a book and maybe make it tongue-in-cheek, a little banter, they might be more likely to read it and learn a few tips about how to treat a woman. And it's about dating, you know, how to be successful at dating.
A very important subject in our lives.
I think so, because it's also big business, because if you look at the world now, there's so many dating sites, dating apps. It's all about who's dating who. People split up a lot. They get together with other people. Before in Cyprus, people would get married and stay married for years and years, or that was it, one marriage. But even here now, if you look at the last 10, 15 years, so many people have got divorced, and even here, divorce is quite normal now, unfortunately. So even for the men here, they need help, I think.
That's right. Years ago, our parents or grandparents got married at a very young age.
Correct.
And had large families. And it was like maybe sometimes even arranged marriages.
Exactly.
And you stuck with that. You know,
exactly.
And in fact, as you were saying, maybe 20 years ago, divorce was taboo. You didn't get divorced.
Correct.
Especially maybe from the women's point of view. You know, how could you have a divorce? How could you be a divorcee?
Exactly.
Now, we are unfortunately coming to modern times in this respect.
Unfortunately.
Or maybe it's a way that we are able to take control of our lives more, and women maybe are not staying in loveless marriages.
Very true.
But then we make the mistake of maybe marrying for the wrong reasons at the beginning.
True.
There's a lot of things to talk about here.
I think in our culture, it was a lot of family pressure as well. And I met men here who said, you know, my family wanted me to get married, so I had to make a stand. But usually it's the girl, isn't it? You know, the mother and father say, right, you're 18 now or 19, you need to get married, you know, so you don't go out and about, or people don't talk about us negatively, so you get married. So, yes, people married for the wrong reasons, I agree, but also at that age, you don't know what you want. So later on in life, and even just a few years later, you think, well, is this man right for me? Or is this woman right for me? Or now we have 1 or 2 children, do we stay together for the children, or what do we do? And a lot of things have changed on the island, some for better, some for worse, but we're having the same problems here that we see in other countries before we didn't see them.
Do you think also that as we have more people going to university, studying more, before, the women used to be at home, the men used to work.
Correct.
And not many people were educated to higher education. Now, the younger generation, they go abroad, they study abroad, they do their degrees or masters or doctorate, they go into academic careers. So women are also, I think, getting married later, having families later.
Very true.
And so everything, you know, the bar is now higher, isn't it?
Very true.
The later you leave it, is it true? Do you think that the older you are, the choosier you get? If you've left it late, you think, well, I'm not going to go with anyone now. If I'm going to be settling down with someone, I want the best. Is that what both sides are thinking, do you think?
Yeah, I agree. There's so many more options because our parents' generation, our grandparents' generation, the goal was to get married, wasn't it? You know, find a nice wife, nice husband, and that was it. Cyprus was very small. There was nothing really here. All the little coves, all the little villages, and people didn't really know much, you know. Even before 1974, it was like that all over the island. But in the last 10, 15, 20 years, as you're right, with university, education, travel, yeah, women don't aspire to get married at 18. Why should they? You know, anywhere else in the world, they study, they get a good job. Why should they marry a boy they just met, their family want to get married, and then live forever? Well, till their natural lives end, of course, I mean. But that's not a dream for women anymore. You know, women want to travel, want to do things, see things, learn languages, and then come back. When they're ready, they'll get married. But then the problem is, as you said, we get choosy, you know. Why should I marry you? What can you do for me? I can work, I can earn my money. I don't need you in my life. And also now, women don't tolerate men the way they did. Before, maybe he drinks too much or he goes out all the time. Yeah, we're married, I don't want to spoil anything or get divorced. But now women think, well, I don't want to live like this forever, you know. If you can't respect me, see ya. So to be fair, yeah, we've got more modern in Cyprus because that's how it is for everybody in the world, actually.
Do you think that this is causing a problem then for men and relationships? And that's why there's a reason that you have written a book first of all for men, because in my opinion, your books are for everyone, generally,
Correct.
your self-help books.
Correct.
But I think women are more open to reading books like this to
Absolutely.
give them, you know, more, I don't know, they're more generally open to learning. Whereas men are more, you know, I don't admit I have a problem in my life.
Correct.
But however, this book for men about relationships means that obviously there must be a market out there. You have listened to men talking about, you know, problems with relationships, not finding the right person, or not getting past, you know, the first date.
Correct.
So, what is the big issue here?
Yeah, I think, yeah, very good question, by the way. I think the big issue is that women have changed a lot in the last 20 years, but men haven't changed so much. Women, as you said earlier, they want to study, they want to travel, they want to do things. They want different things out of life, but men haven't really changed too much. You know, they still have the same thoughts. They still think, you know, I'll settle down one day, start a family, go to work, provide. That hasn't changed too much. Of course, some things have changed for men, but for women, everything has changed. Their whole goals. Why do you want a man? If you're a woman, think about it. Why do you want a man? Why? Maybe to have a family? Well, you don't need it at 18. You can wait till you're 28. You know, someone to pay for you? No, you can get your own job. You know, to study? Well, you don't need a man to study. You're the one studying. You can go off now to England and study, or Europe, America. Women don't actually need a man anymore. It goes back to the old sort of feminist belief, you know, a woman needs a man like a fish needs a bicycle, you know, that type of ideology. And women are also having that belief in Cyprus now. I don't want to get married unless you can give me something positive in my life. Yeah. So women have changed. The point is, men haven't adapted to it. You know, men now think, well, what's happening, you know? Before I married, look at my mum and dad, they're married. My grandparents, they stayed married forever. Why doesn't my wife, she wants a divorce? Why?
Yeah.
And men haven't adapted. That's why I think a book like this is needed for men, because a lot of the times the men I work with say, well, I don't have a problem. They're in denial. I don't have a problem, or it's not my problem. I don't want to change. She can change. If she doesn't want me, leave. But they don't really mean that, you know. It's all bravado. They really don't want their wife to leave, but they don't know how to stop it from happening.
Very serious issues.
Really,
that we need to tackle in 2019. But this is a book with lots of different chapters, from how do jerks attract so many women to 10 reasons why smart men fail with women, and the final chapter, 5 easy ways to flirt with a woman. And in front of every chapter you've got some funny quotes, interesting quotes. And the first one is actually song words. Bad boys stick together, never sad boys. Good guys, they make rules for fools, so get wise. Obviously, Wham,
exactly.
And Bad Boys, but you know, smart women love smart men more than smart men love smart women. And
exactly.
Clever, interesting quotes, but very interesting information here. And I want to pick up on a point that maybe a lot of us find is that now we're working together, or we're studying together, and everyone's mixing together. You know, it's a very cosmopolitan world. We meet people from all different walks of life. Friendship starts, and then how does friendship become more? Because I think a lot of men, like, for instance, I feel that this is true for a lot of people that I meet. Friendship is one thing, but if you want to take it a step further, sometimes women say, well, I see you like a friend, like a brother.
Exactly.
And that's the point, isn't it? I mean, sometimes you think, well, yeah, but I don't want to be your brother or friend. I want to be more.
Very good question.
Is that something that is a problem that you think is still relevant today?
Excellent question. And I actually touch on that in my book, because men get demoted to the friend zone. And I say demoted because if you think about it, if you're single and a woman is single, you like her, she's attractive, intelligent, funny, why would you not want to be with her? Of course you would. But if you're not sure, then you start out as friends, you know, let's be friends and see what happens, right? But then after a while, you know, maybe even see her date other guys, maybe. And then you think, well, I want to date you. How do I do that? The problem is, though, is when you go too far, it's difficult then, not impossible, but difficult to then create attraction. And what I touch on in the book is that a man must spark attraction in a woman. He must know how to fundamentally create attraction so a woman likes him on another level, not a brother or a friend, but on a man-woman attraction level, you know, the base psychology of men and women, why we want to be together. And that's hardwired in us. That is programmed in us from from throughout evolution. You know, it's not something that happened today. The last 10, 20, 30, 50 years of evolution has developed men and women to be attracted to each other. So we procreate, we have children to continue survival, and that's it. So if you start out as a friend, you might always stay as a friend. The point is you have to know then how to create attraction. And in the book, I give men a lot of tips on what to do, how to say, what to say, how to say it, so that they start to create attraction in a woman, so that she thinks, you know, I like this guy more than a friend. He's created feelings in me. Where have these feelings come from? But as a man, you have to understand, when a man looks at a woman, a beautiful woman, he thinks, wow, she's beautiful. And then he maybe feels something. But for a woman, it's different. She feels something first, and then she looks at the man and says, you know, why do I feel this? What is it that what is it about you that's making me feel this? So fundamentally, we're different. We're wired differently. Yeah. Men look, then feel. Women feel, then look. Yeah. And that's the difference.
Very interesting, and it is a very important difference that you point out in the book. You know, that's the reason wwhy we're having this dating tip book here. You know, don't be a wuss.
Exactly.
How did you find the title out of interest? Because Stop Being a Wuss is such a different type. I mean, you could have made it like, you know, and the secrets to relationships for men. You know, but no, it was. Yeah. I mean, it's a very eye-catching, very deliberate.
Exactly.
Title. When you say wuss, and I know that you were discussing this with Denise on the radio. She asked you about, you know, is it a negative thing? Is it be like, you know, be assertive, be strong, stop thinking about things and just take control? Because maybe the girl that you like, she actually likes you as well, but because you're being a wuss about it and thinking about it, you know, or, I mean, what is, in your opinion, what is behind
that? Is exactly it, exactly what you say. It's about being assertive. It's about seeing something and not being scared to go for it, not being fearful of rejection. Because a lot of women, they still, although it's modern and women can now do what they want, they still wait for the man to make the first move. You know, if you like me, prove it. But the problem men have is they wait too long, and they wait and they wait, and then the woman loses interest and thinks, well, you know, you don't like me, or I met someone anyway. You had your chance. So this really is about, if you feel that there's something important in the connection, do something about it. Don't wait and then be the friend, and then, oh, I'll be the shoulder to cry on. I'll be the best friend, and then get surprised she doesn't like you, because she sees you, as you said before, the last question, she'll see you as the friend. And that's where you stay, as the friend. But men want more than that. I want to be the lover. She's beautiful body, beautiful face, beautiful heart, beautiful mind. I want more. But they don't know how to create more. If they're the brother or the friend, why should that change in a woman? I tell you my problems, you're my brother, you're my friend. Why should I now fancy you? It doesn't work like that. Men have to spark this, you know, they have to create this attraction, but most men don't know that. They think it just develops, but it doesn't. It stays. For a woman, if she doesn't fancy you, it's not impossible, but very difficult for her to then fancy you suddenly and think, yeah, I do find you attractive. Men have to create that, and that's what this book's about, you know, and you don't create it by buying presents, taking her out to expensive restaurants, lovely holidays. And she thinks, well, you've got a lot of money, but we're still like friends going to expensive places. I still don't feel it. And you hear that, women say that a lot to me. I like him, I love him as a friend, but I don't feel it. And that's where men fail. They don't know how to make her feel it. Men have that power, but men don't know they have that power. That's why they fail.
We mentioned, or you mentioned earlier on about, you know, the number of dating sites out there on social media, people using the internet now, and maybe hiding behind the keyboard, putting on their best photograph, you know, taking a selfie, best photograph, looking really good, and then maybe approaching people and then meeting in real life. But why are we hiding behind dating sites? I mean, surely now, in the year 2019, we should be out there going to restaurants and bars, to social events. I mean, there's lots going on, especially in North Cyprus, for instance, where you can meet, bump into people, and just do the normal old-style thing of just chatting somebody up and say, hi, you know, nice to meet you, or do you want to go out for a drink after this, or do you want to go for a meal?
Yeah, very
Why
good.
is it that we are so, as we're getting more, you know,
advanced.
advanced.
Yeah.
Why is it that we are still not perfect in the relationship for some of us? I mean, some of us are lucky and find the love of our lives early on and stay with them for the rest of our life. But some people I can see, you know, out there who are struggling from relationship, it doesn't work out, and the next one, or, you know, it's just so, sometimes it's so superficial.
Correct.
Social media has sort of like, you know, brought us together, but also set us apart. What is the problem with us meeting the right person?
Very good question again, Jan. Your answer's actually in the question. Yes, we've got advanced technologically, but mankind hasn't got advanced. We're still the same. We're still the same people that we were 50, 100, 200, 500 years ago. You know, we're still very, very much the same. What we do has changed. Now, the technology has changed. If you look around us, you know, everyone's got a phone now. You can communicate around the world with anyone. But we haven't really changed. And that's why people suffer from stress and anxiety. We're not designed to 24 hours a day be on the phone, be wired on, switched on, communicating. We're designed to rest. We're designed to sleep. We're designed to eat and communicate at certain times. But that's changed for us now. You know, people have problems sleeping now because if you're looking at a screen in the night, the light stops you sleeping. People don't sleep well. People have anxiety. They have all the complexes we have as human beings, all the fears we have, they're actually made worse now because of social media. It's made worse because of technology. So, yes, everything's got advanced, but humans, mankind, hasn't got advanced yet. We're still trying to catch up to that. So, we'll always have problems with dating until our minds understand what we're doing. You know, that's why there are these dating apps and dating sites and people have problems because they don't know what they're doing really. They still don't understand what they want and how to get it from another person. And until you understand that, you'll always have problems. Hence the book geared to men, because men have to change now, not women. They've already changed quite a lot. Men need to follow.
That's a big statement to make, that men have to change and men have to learn. And it's a good thing that we've got you coming in today to talk about dating tips and secrets for men. I think that the first, my opinion is that the first thing that a woman sees is obviously the physical attraction to a person.
Correct.
You know, the tall, dark, handsome stranger who walks into a room and, wow, I'm bowled over. You make the comments there about, you know, Mr. Nice Guy, Mr. Boring Guy. Don't always be Mr. Nice, but don't be a jerk either.
Correct.
If you're smart and rich, doesn't mean that you're interesting. It could be boring.
Correct.
Also, I mean, I think that the fine line between friendship and love or romance is a very thin line. But we have a problem with, as you said, crossing that line. But what do we do? How can somebody, Mr. Average, not a tall, dark, handsome guy like yourself?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I'm sure you haven't had many problems in your personal life. But, you know, Mr. Average, who hasn't really got a lot to offer physically, I mean, how can we? Do we have to make the woman laugh? Do we have to make her feel special? Do we have to be Mr. Nice, or do we have to be Mr. Mysterious? What is the key to that first initial meeting?
That's a really good question. Again, you know, that's why I love doing these interviews, because it's like having a really great conversation with a friend, and we are friends as well, I know that. But what I mean is it makes for great TV because you need great questions to elicit the good answers, and hopefully my answers are good enough.
Always.
Thank you, thank you. But you touched on a couple of very important points there. See, as a man, you've got to sort of tune into the woman's mind, because you've got to first understand what a woman is and what she wants and what she expects from you. You know, and as I said in my radio interview, a lot of men see women as something special and they put her up on a pedestal, you know, and something mysterious and fantastic, and I'll do everything for you and I'll buy you this. But women at the end of the day just want a man to treat them with respect and like a friend. So firstly, for a man, to answer your question more directly, talk to her as you would a normal friend. Share things with her. Don't try to treat her as something special or obsess about her and say, wow, you're beautiful, and has anyone told you this before, as we discussed? Of course they have. Be different. Yeah, of course make her laugh. That's important, because as I mentioned in the radio interview, building rapport starts with laughter. We communicate and connect to people, and that's through laughter. That's through a bond. Yeah, be a bit mysterious. You know, some men tell everything to a woman and then think, well, you know, why doesn't she like me? Well, she knows everything about you. There's nothing to discover. So you need to create a bit of mystery, and you need to create a relationship where she doesn't think he thinks I'm really special and number one, he'll do everything for me. Because when a woman gets that from a man, she gets bored, she gets tired of it. She doesn't want a man running around after her. She wants a man to be a bit mysterious and to treat her with respect.
These are things that we know, but when you have them written in front of you in black and white and as a reference book, because that's what it really is. You know, you can go to different chapters, reference, and it is interesting. I mean, I've only just recently, literally gave me this book before we had the interview, because we didn't know we were going to be chatting today about this. But I know that you are very, very eloquent as a writer.
Thank you.
You get the point across very well. Is this going to be part one of a series, do you think, of specific books for men and women?
Good question. Yes, I think so, because it's an interesting subject, I think, for people. That's the number one area where most people have problems, you know. So I think, you know, men need help, and then women will need help to adapt to the men, maybe, who haven't changed so much. But, you know, as you said earlier, you know, we all know these things. It's true, but the men I work with, even though they're very intelligent or smart or very successful in other areas of their lives, still struggle with women. So even if they know these things, they can't do them. For some reason, they still can't click and then say, well, no, I have to talk to a woman another way. I have to behave in another way. They're still taught, you know, women are special, treat her like a princess, treat her, you know, put her on the pedestal and then treat her like the queen because she's like a queen for me. But as I said, the women I've met, women I've worked with, they get tired of that. Even in my radio interviews, you know, with Denise, she even said, you know, that's boring, you know. And as a woman, I'm sure she's heard a lot of things as well from men. But women do find it boring. So it's important men understand these things and then change for the better. And as I said, I'm already working on a second book here. I'm putting the sort of layout together, and also a dating book for women, you know, how to deal with men. So, yeah, it could be a series. Why
hasn't he asked me to marry him yet? Why isn't the ring on the finger?
Exactly, exactly.
If you like it, put a ring on it.
Exactly.
But, Sivri, you've got to, I mean, I know that you've got your books here in the TRNC. We can get the bestseller bookshops, can't we? Most of your books.
Correct.
Will you be having, a few years ago, you had a book signing for one of your books.
I did.
Do you have any plans for book
will
signings
be.
in the future?
I'll do probably 1 or 2 more book signings. I'll get some more books in and things like that. But as you know, it's sort of getting the word out. Yeah. So, of course, I'll contact you guys at BRTK International.
But anyone watching abroad or anyone watching this programme now, can they get this book on Amazon?
Yeah, it's easy. It's easy to get all my books online. They're all on Amazon. They're all on Kindle as well, so you can actually download it right now and listen to it if you want, or read it if you want. All on Amazon, all around the world. Go into your local bookstore anywhere, and it's delivered to the bookstore in a day or 2 if they don't have it. So it's very easy. It's just here it's difficult to get the books, as you know.
Yeah,
it's difficult.
Lots of problems.
Lots of problems here.
With shipping and paying lots of extra tax on them.
Exactly.
This book is how many in a series of self-helps? How much? What number book is this now?
Yeah, I've written
7,
1
8?
fiction, 2 poetry, and I think this is my eighth self-help book. I've done 8 books on different areas: how to improve your confidence, how to create inner peace in your mind, how to, you know, be more successful at work, and different areas that I think people need help in. And
you've got more coming up, I'm sure. Your mind is ticking away.
Yeah, it's always ticking away. Yeah. As I said to Denise, I've always got 2 or 3 books in my head at the same time, and I write depending on my mood as well. Yeah. If I feel, you know, today I want to write something about men and relationships or women and relationships, or I want to be imaginative, then I just write something far out. You see. If any of our viewers would like to contact Sivri, I know that you have a page on Facebook, DU Sivri. Correct. And you're also on Instagram and Twitter. That's correct. And LinkedIn, I think, as well, you mentioned. Yeah, LinkedIn as well, that's correct. I think Instagram is probably the easiest way to get through to you. It's quite instant, isn't it, with the messages, and you've got your photos there of your books, and whenever you've got a new book out, you promote it on the application site. So we can find you there. DU Sivri is the name that you're under as a writer. And of course, you're based here at the TRNC. If anyone wants to use your services as a psychotherapist, they're more than welcome, I'm sure, to have a session with you. But you're a very
approachable, very kind guy.
Thank you, thank you.
Sivri. So thank you once again for coming in today to the programme.
My pleasure as always, Jan. Absolute pleasure speaking to you. Time flies so quickly.
It does.
Doesn't it?
Half an hour has gone by very quickly, but it's always interesting to chat with you. And thank you for the Stop Being a Wuss Dating Tips and Secrets for Men book. It's available online and also via Sivri. So if you want to find out more, contact DU Sivri and he'll share his vast knowledge with you. But once again, good luck and thank you for coming in.
Thank you. My pleasure, Jan. Wishing
Thanks
you
a
the
lot.
best. Thank
and
you.
with that, we've come to the end of our chat with DU Sivri. Thank you for watching. Until next time, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.